Okay, all right, I'm back with now our second place winner in the polling, as you guys saw, is silver. Now this is a really interesting chart, so I'm glad you guys chose this. You know, it's interesting as I just sit here looking at this is a daily chart so I'm using the XAG, so on Oanda. What does that look like to you, right? So obviously the timeline is different here, but if this were sure looks a lot like most of crypto. Like this is Bitcoin 2017 high, right? And they're coming down here. It looks very similar, right? Now this is a much longer time period here. So it's the 211 high, right? We're putting into the potentially now low maybe in. So that's a 7-year correction, right? But just the structure of it reminds me a lot of crypto, and particularly in Bitcoin. So now, but back to the count here as we have it here. So something like this, you got to start on the daily to get a sense of where you are. Now, this is one of those cases where it's really open to interpretation. There's got to be 7 different ways you could count this. The reason I'm going with this count here is it's tied to this pivot here. There's a huge amount of confluence down here at, let's call it 1373, just enormous, which I'm going to show you here. Now, I am trading this as a WXY, and technically we do not have a new low here, so there may be, potentially now there's a bit of truncation here in the Y wave. But let me just break it, take you through it here. So, of course, there's a number of different ways here. So my first thought was to trade it as an ABC into a WX, but the symmetry is so far off here. I don't think that works as well here because you'd have a WX and then all of this would be the Y. It's just too long. I mean, there's nothing that's perfect here, but of all of the alternates here, I think this plays better. So I'm trading this as coming down into so I've got a diagonal here going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the A wave here. So if you're ever curious of what a quadruple bottom looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. All right, so that was obviously some very significant support here. Now, if there's a chance to get that tested again, that's well, I would leave this up here. So this is it's still part of it, right? So all of those wicks here, so you could use these as well here, so you get the true triple bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B. Now you're going to have to dig it into an A, B, C there. Now, again, of course, I looked at the possibility that we'd gone A, B, C here with a truncation in the C, but it just doesn't work as well. So let me give you the reason I think this plays better. So if I take, just looking here now, starting at the top here, just standard things you would do anyway. So I'm going to take the length of the A wave, the proposed A wave, and I'm going to project it from the B wave. All right, so here's exactly 100% to the tick, or damn near. It goes through by a couple of pennies. Now, same over here. So same thing. Now, I'm going to take the length of the 1 wave, project it from the 2 wave. Well, I go a little bit beyond the 1618. But if I project it from the 4, which is what you would use to determine whether or not you have a candidate for the 5, look at this confluence. Now, I think we can add to that from the 2 through the 3. All right, so here's the 38 for the 4. So that's a pretty good stack there, guys. That's a huge amount of confluence here. So we can get the pattern to complete here. So we can get a W wave and complete the ABC here into that huge level of confluence. So a candidate here for what I'm proposing is the W, then an ABC into the X. Now, yeah, there's a possibility you could have been thinking 1 deep 2, but I just don't think it's there. It's too much force fitting here. So let me pull all of this off with that acknowledged as a very significant technical pivot here. Now we haven't, again, as I noted here, so I've just got this will be significant. So here's our range that's really going to be important. Now going from the daily, let's see, let me try the 4 hour, see if we can get that might not be enough. Here, I might have to go. Let me go to an 8. I don't think we can see it all here. Okay, so here's the. Let me bring it up here. Okay, so here would be the fifth of the C of the W, all right? So we complete the first A, B, C here. Now, this is not terrible here. I can definitely get a motive wave into my A, the B, and the C, give me my proposed X wave. Now, here's where it gets tricky. All right, we have, it's just process of elimination here. So where's the 1, 2? Here, here, here. Well, so if this is the 1, 2, which I'm proposing, so we get an ABC here into a 2, and then we get an ABC into the 3, ABC into the 4. Well, we have to overlap the 1 if it's going to play, if we're going to call this a diagonal, of course. So we've got to get a series of ABCs here, ABC into the 5. But I think, if I look here, so from the start of the always in a diagonal, we're looking for confluence here in the 4, start of the 1 through the pivot of the 3. Well, here we get this little double top up here for the 5. We're just denied until we get over here. Finally, we get the target. So I think you can make a case here that we've got a 1, 2, 3. So again, same thing as always, just trying to get a handle on, are there wave fib relationships here that would be helpful to me? Well, so if the reason I lean into this is the 1, 2, here's the 1, 6, 1, 8 to the tick. Right? 1, 2, 3, high probability zone for it. ABC into the 4 gives me enough to get the diagonal. So I've got the 1, 2, 3 overlap in the 4, ABC to finish the A wave from my X, right? So now from the X, I'm trying to finish with an ABC. So I think that plays here into the A wave, A, B, C into the B, and then I got to finish with an ABC. All right, so if I take the length of the A, all right, here's the B, so you see that from the algo pull right here. So this completed, treating this as a completed leading diagonal into the 50, then is that a front run on the target? Well, very well could be, right? So we're talking about 1387. The algo target is 1372. Close enough, right? So that looks like that's done here, as I can get the whole thing to finish down here to give me the Y. Now, it's a very slight truncation here in the Y, but the broader pattern, I think, is tradable. So A, B, C here, so I get that to finish. Then I think if I take the length of the A wave projected from the proposed B here, well, we don't get 100%, right? So we don't quite have that same precision looking at that wave relationship, but you just kind of play around with them here, see if you can find something that gives you a little more confluence. So here's 3, 4, here's the 6, 1, 8. So I think the dominant play here is from this algo here that takes it down, and that's likely a front run on the target. So that's the way I'm counting it until proven otherwise. I think that's very, very tradable here. So we've got our technical low here with that high level of confluence, slight truncation here, but I've got now an impulse coming off the low. So let's go, let's try the 2 hour here and take a look at where we are coming off of this low. So I get a nice clear impulse into the 1 wave here. So it gets a little wonky here. It looks like you got to finish with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the new pivot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So it's there. It's this little pump wick, a little unusual because the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was all there, but then you had the little kick. So that could be A, B. Hard to say. All right, so we've got this, but I'll just leave this here. So the idea being that I've got a completed I've got a completed motive wave. In this case, I think you can trade this as an impulse. So from the 2 to the 3, get right on it here. So here's the, all right, so this helps you identify this as the 4. We're 38 to the tick. All right, was this a little push to get up to somebody wanted to fill up here? Could be. It's hard to know. Then it looks like this is going to fall short. So from this one, we went deep here it went past the golden zone, but this last little pump wick stopped running. Likely, right? Very, very could have been just a bull trap, right? So there were stops sitting up here, right? A bunch above both of those pivots. That's probably somebody just getting bent over, right? Somebody got filled on a buy there. Down they go. So where do we go? So from the low to that pivot. All right, so here's our 50. So it doesn't look quite like we're done yet here. So let me clean this up here. So if this is going to be A, B, C into the B, well, of course, just as we would with any formation like this, if we've got an A, B, well, we're looking for it anywhere from the 50 to the 786, so that's certainly a nice contender. Well, now we look and try and put the whole thing together. Well, this no reason to assume that this isn't going to get there. So then you look at that target and you say, well, we're right there at the point of control. Reasonable. How's that going to look relative to my low down here? So if I pull this up, right, so here's your target just beyond the golden zone. So if it's not going to make it, if it's going to get denied here, it would be the competing algorithm that kept it from getting to that target, right? But that would be close enough for a front run. So you've got a nice little cluster down here as a place to look as a target where you'd have pattern price, you'd have the confluence of two algos, one hitting target, one defending, because most likely they started buying here at the 50. They'll defend right up to the other side of the 65. So ideally, you'd want to see that 65 hold if you're looking, if you're assuming you're interested in the buy side here. So we have a candidate for a potential golden corner setting up. So pulling that off here, of course, next thing always with 3 pivots, we're going to put up some median lines. So I'm going to use the highest high here. That would be our golden there. No reason to go to a modifier just yet. So this coming down here, if we're going to finish down here and set up that golden corner, that's a must take. Must take, right? So we don't doesn't have to be right here at the 65, right? Could be a front run on that. We just don't know, but I'd be certainly looking for this. Now, the reason I'd be more inclined to be looking for us to get a little bit beyond, one, I've got point of control here. So this is visible range here, and O and A. This is actually surprised me. I'm assuming what they're using here is tick volume. They're the only broker that's providing, that gives you volume profile here, but I'm assuming they're using, you can't get volume, so they must be using tick volume here. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C into the 2 sets up a potential golden corner, as well as what you're really after here is the big 3. So, I mean, why would you not take this trade? Right, so that's I can't even get them up high enough. I got to scrunch down even further. If we're going to get a true third, here's what you're looking at. There would be your upper target. So how do of course, that's our shorthand. That's the negative 100, which would be very close to the 1618. So if we tee this up, now again, I don't have a pivot here, but just so we get an idea of what the risk reward looks like. So we're getting up to something like that. Stop on the other side, be on the other side of the point of control, because the risk is so moderate here. You might even give that just a little bit more. Well, there's 16 to 1. Again, right? Why would you not take that trade? There is nothing technically to suggest that, oh shit, well I can't take that because this is the 1-2. So what would your alternate be? Somehow this is corrective, and then you're in a 1-2, and we're going down for the 3. Seems unlikely given all the confluence that we have and the fact that I can get everything to finish down here. Now, shit, is it possible? Of course it's possible. Right? This isn't the prettiest finish down here. I mean, it's a bit of a struggle to get that to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it's not pretty. Now I'm on a 2-hour here, so it looks like you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's mighty skinny though, no question about it. So wherever that, oh god, that's annoying. I can't scrunch it anymore. So is that your 2? All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tough, right? But you can probably on a smaller time frame get that to finish down here. This looks like the 4 here, so you got to come down and finish here. So I think you'd likely have to go diagonal into the 1 A, B, C. So I think you'd have to be considering this as 1, 2. I guess you got to go 3, 4, 5 down here. That's kind of, let's go up. Go micro. So then yeah, it could be A, B, C. So the 2. God damn it, that's annoying. Okay, all right, over here 2. Hard to say, because then you definitely have 3 here, but that would give you definitely have 3 here. So I think you need this. So it's just to make sure we can get this, we're not fooling ourselves. So if that's 1, 2, all right, we do not overlap. God damn, that is close though, but it doesn't get it. So here, this actually, so here just using the wave relationships, could we finish here? Right, so that actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a candidate. But the 1, 2, 3, I don't think that plays. So I think you'd have to go this way. So we'll note here. Here's the isn't that amazing? There's the 2, 6, 1, 8 right there. So length of the, pardon me. So from the subdivision here, the length of this one, well, it's damn near, it's damn near identical. So let's just out of curiosity, 1, if that's the 1, and we're going to use the larger 2, well, we get kind of the same. It's very similar here. But this plays actually better as the subdivision is here. So if this is the 2 of the lower degree, 1, 2, that looks pretty solid. So you go 1, 2, well, that looks solid here. So from this, I think you'd have to finish it like this, right? So I don't know why I get caught on this little digression, but I did here. So 3, 4, 5, looks like you'd have to finish this 5 here. That degree's got to go down. Let's go to yellow so we can see it. So I think you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C into the 4, and then you've got a very skinny 5 to give you the 5th, the C of the, remember this is the Y, the proposed Y down here. So since I can finish all of this, and I do get a new low here, so we don't have a truncated 5th. It's just digging the subdivision. Now it's going to be, well, I'm on a 4-hour, right? You can probably get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, A, B. Yeah, right? So if that sets up for 16 to 1, yeah, I'll take that. So can you buy it now? Well, yeah, sure, right? Because, of course, if you're trading with a CFD through an FX broker here, you don't have to take the full weight of a futures contract here. So you can take... You can do this with the minis and get yourself positioned here. So if you're anxious to be a buyer here, I don't think you need to be. Is there anything really teeing you up here? So, oh, you do have some divergence, as you'll note here. So just looking at that here. So, well, technically we've got a double bottom here. So, but you could wait. So ideally this comes down a little further. So you're buying into the golden zone, tighter stop, bigger upside. The technical pattern plays a little bit better. So yeah, that's worth waiting for. So of course, if you're just going to hold down here waiting for the golden zone, of course you risk getting left, with your mouse in your hand, right? You don't get the fill. So if you're anxious about the opportunity, you could be a buyer here of some small size, because you don't need, if you're going to get 16 to 1, and the emphasis if that plays, you don't need a huge position there to see very nice return on your risk, on the capital at risk. But, so you might do a little bit and have the bulk of your position, or whatever you're comfortable with at the golden zone. Maximum risk, you don't need to give that beyond the 786. Right, because now you're past the algo target, we're past the golden zone. Now here, you're shrinking it down to 8.26 to 1. Not like that's a bad return, but so it's always a function of how much room you're going to give it. Well, there's 14.8 to 1. So you want to give this a little room for a little volatility spike, for some stop running, for this structure. There's also this 1 down here. So there's some structure you're going to fight with right there. But if you can get into that pocket, oh, that's... Well, of course, we're looking at the upside here, assuming you got the wave 3, but just here, there's almost 8 to 1, just getting to the first algo target. If it's going to get all the way to a wave 3, and we're going to get up to $18, 14.9, almost 15 to 1, right? So absolutely one for the watch list here. If you're gung ho to get ready to rip on that, again with the CFD, you could get long right here. To ensure you don't get left without getting a position here, but the golden corner here is really sexy. All right, guys, that's 19 minutes, a little longer than I want. I got a little sidetracked here on trying to finish that thing, but I think it all plays. So absolutely one to watch, right? I would definitely take that golden corner. I don't know that I would jump on it now, but I'll have an alert right there if that goes off to grab a piece of it. All right, guys, I think I'm going to try and get one more for you because we had a tie for the third. Okay, back.